Prologue. I can't remember whose idea it was to start taking pictures that night, but it could have come from either one of us. I had a cheap autofocus point and shoot, and when Ashley would sleep over, we'd often go through 2 rolls of film in a weekend. Sometimes we'd hike into the woods behind my house and pose on rocks or in piles of leaves or standing on logs that had fallen across the river. We'd pretend to be models, trading off with the camera and art directing an imaginary shoot for 17. Other times, we'd photograph each other playing the piano in my living room, practicing whatever duet we had learned that week. I was always secondo, and Ashley was primo, her fingers slender and light on the high keys. That night after dinner, we had nothing special in mind. We just started clicking through exposures at an aimless pace, picking up props we found around my bedroom. There's Ashley, kneeling on my blue shag carpet in baggy stonewashed jeans and a white t-shirt, holding a beach ball next to her shoulder in a mock coquettish pose. There's me, with crazy, frizzy hair and wayfarers, standing in front of a tacked-up watercolor painting we had done in art class. Whose idea was it to start taking off our clothes? Probably mine, but it wouldn't have made much of a difference. Neither of us was shy, but I was a bit bossier. I wasn't yet even a preteen, but a penchant for directing and managing was already beginning to take hold. We'd seen each other's bodies plenty of times before, mostly out of curiosity and veiled competitiveness, and generally at times when we knew her parents or my parents wouldn't suddenly come home. We discussed which one of us might need a bra first, me, or who looked better in the pale pink culottes we both had. She did. Sometimes we'd end up in the shower, but never the bath. We didn't look at each other too closely or directly, and we didn't touch. We more just acknowledged each other, as if to say, I'm okay, you're okay. We're in this thing, this stage, this girl-woman gawkiness, this whatever it is, together. The addition of the camera that night gave things a slightly different edge. It was still just the 2 of us. We pretended to be models, as always. But this time, instead of imitating the glossy-lipped girls in teen magazines, we told ourselves we were the ones in the Playboys we found buried in a closet at Ashley's house. It felt like a game. At the time, sexiness was as foreign a concept as cold fusion. We didn't know enough to feel self-conscious, so instead, we just giggled, unstoppably. We covered our non-existent breasts with our hands and laughed about how dissimilar our bodies were from the jaded, tanned, and voluptuous women on those pages. We lowered our voices and tried to seduce each other, quoting lines from The Young and the Restless, and then we pursed our lips and whistled. There's me, lying in an S-curve on the carpet, all baby fat and curls. Ashley, topless with pastel cotton underpants, is hanging from the chin-up bar in my closet doorway, her belly button pulled taut like the slit on a slot machine. There are a few gymnastics poses, then a few mock centerfold shots, and click, 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 the roll was done. We went to bed smirking that night, Ashley in the trundle below me, with yet another secret between us. I had nearly forgotten about it until a few weeks later when my mother came home from the film developer, livid. She tossed the envelope of pictures in front of me on the table, unopened, and demanded to know what was on the film. The manager came out to tell me, we don't develop smut, she seethed, hanging on the final T, as if the word was still ringing in her ears. I was mortified. If your father had been there, he could have been taken to jail. My face grew hot. It had never occurred to me that there were actual people developing, considering, and perhaps even discussing my pictures. That it wasn't just an automated machine like the one I got soda out of. That a teenage boy, or a middle-aged man, or a faceless person I couldn't envision had seen us, maybe even laughed at us, not just this time, but all the times. That what Ashley and I did in my room, or in her room, or in the woods, didn't belong just to us. It was my first flicker of understanding that part of being a girl meant being looked at, judged, maybe criticized, whether you consented or not, and I didn't like it one bit. It was 1989, and Ashley and I were 10 years old. Today, Ashley is more than 16 years dead.